What have we learned? We learned that change is necessary, that it's brutal, and that it will be resisted no matter how necessary by very entrenched forces that are very powerful. If you look at healthcare, financial reform, energy, jobs, all of them ran into concerted opposition from a timid administration, from entrenched lobbies that wanted to do even less than the administration, and from Republicans who announced early on they were simply going to be an obstruction, and too many Democrats who could be rented for whatever vote to get in the way of change.
Yeah, I think that people learned a lot in this healthcare battle, for example. They learned that no matter how popular an idea, and healthcare reform and things like the public option were very, very popular, when they run up against the institution of the U.S. Senate, things get crippled, and democracy doesn't work.
What's the lesson we draw from that? It's not really anything profound. We knew it was going to be hard. We knew that the Democratic Party was a big tent and that there would be people who would be standing in the way. We knew the lobbies were well funded and would mobilize full tilt boogie to stop reform. Progressives have to not wash their hands of this process, no matter how ugly it is, not give up in despair, not walk away. We've got to organize more. We've got to organize more independently. We've got to have a much bigger role in pushing the administration to do more than it would, in pushing the Democrats to fight harder than they would, and in challenging directly the moneyed politics that is dominating our Congress and too much of our future.
We should always remember that we helped to shape the election of Barack Obama. We helped to shape the issues that he ran on, and it's instructive to run down the promises, the issues that were discussed in that 2008 election: health care for all, restructuring the financial system, getting the U.S. economy moving again. The idea that we can be a positive force in the world. The thing that we've got to remember is these things get accomplished even when we have a smart, aggressive president, only if there's a political movement that is not only behind him, but also helping to push and to make things happen.
And that means getting more involved, not less, even though that seems, for many of us, counterproductive after some discouraging months. And it means working harder and getting deeper involved in the political process of trying to make the Democratic Party into an agency of change rather than one that really is managing the status quo.
I'm very proud of the fact, for example, that the Healthcare for America Now coalition, which we were a part of, helped to make sure to push Obama to make healthcare a major priority this year. He could have put it off to the next year or the year after that, but this is the period of his maximum power, and it's a period where we had to get things done.
Well, we go right into January with jobs top on the agenda. I assume that'll be the centerpiece of the President's State of the Union address. It better be. Financial reform is teed up. It's passed the House. It will go into the Senate. They will also be looking once more at the nomination of Ben Bernanke to be head of the Federal Reserve. So financial reform, utterly necessary if we're to get the banks under control, is second. Then we've got immigration reform. We've got the Employee Free Choice Act and whether we will empower workers once more to have a shot at organizing unions in the workplace. Crucial to any kind of just distribution of resources in the country. All of those will be coming up in the first few months of the next year.
We've got to push to make sure that jobs and reestablishing economic growth in a way that benefits real families, real workers, that stays on the table and that is a priority for next year. Because already you're hearing voices, including some in the administration, who are saying, well, we've done enough. Our economic stimulus package is eventually going to work. It's eventually going to be putting people to work. Eventually doesn't win elections and eventually doesn't feed people's families.
These are the years, this year, next year, the year after that, when we have the best opportunity in 30 years for progressive reform. It's also the years when we have to build a different economy out of the ruins and the ashes of the old. And so these struggles, as painful as they are utterly fundamental about what kind of society we're going to live in and our children are going to live in over the next years.
We've got to do a full-scale assault on the institutions of government that demonstrably, in the last year, have failed to work for democracy. So every time we build a campaign to the legislative level, we've got to be at the same time demanding that our government institutions clean up their act, change their rules, and become more responsive to the majority of the country.
So the Campaign for America's Future will be at the front lines and pushing on jobs, on industrial policy, on new energy, on financial reform, on what the new social contract is beyond healthcare with Americans, on empowering workers. These are fundamental fights about our future, and we'll be there trying to enlist you in waging them.
Every time we try to win, we can at the very least learn how to win better the next time. And we can build a new movement for democracy as well as a movement for healthcare or jobs.